So this is an eviction based on the non-payment of rent. The monthly rent is $3,059. There's been a failure to pay since September 1st of 2025. Due to that default, there was a 3-day notice to vacate that was posted on the interior of the main entry door on October 13th of 2025. To our knowledge, the defendant has yet to vacate. So because of that, we are seeking back due rent for September, October, November, and a prorated December for a total amount of $8,175.12, as a partial payment was made on October 20th. Today, we are seeking possession of the leased premises, back due rent, court costs, and attorney's fees in the amount of $800. Would you like to hear my testimony about attorney's fees now, or would you like to wait?
No, you can go with that now.
Okay. So my colleague Aaron DuBois did approximately, there's been a total of 2.5 hours done on this case. My colleagues Aaron DuBois and Rachel Smith have done the work leading up to this trial, Your Honor. Aaron DuBois charges at an hourly rate of $350 an hour, or $300 an hour, and Rachel Smith does an hourly rate of $95 an hour. We have accumulated $688.50 of work on this case thus far, not including our time here today, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Oladipupo, are there any payments that you've made or any credits that you believe you're entitled to that you did not receive?
Yes, Your Honor. I dropped off a $5,000 cashier's check to the leasing office a couple of days ago, and I
What
offered
day was
to.
that?
This was on the day after Thanksgiving. This was on
So
Saturday.
Friday. And they
Yeah,
accepted that check?
Yes, I handed it to the concierge because this was after the office was closed at the time that I arrived, and I spoke to Paul, the
So who's the
assistant manager.
concierge? Is that an employee of the management company?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rivera, do you have knowledge of a $5,000 check?
Yes, sir. It is on my desk right now. We have not processed.
So you haven't accepted it yet?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Mr. Oladipupo, anything else that you wish to add?
Your Honor, I've been a resident of the Quincy for 3 years now, and prior to all of this, going on, I had informed Paul that the reason for me being late is due to the family crisis I was having back home. And my father eventually passed, and this was when I told him all about it. I literally was sending every dime I was making to my family, and it got really bad to where I had to choose between attending my father's funeral in Nigeria or sending the money to my family to actually take care of the funeral. Till today, I still don't know where my father is buried, just due to all of this going on. It's been 3 years since I've been here, and I've paid rent up until September, which, with leading up to this, my father has been needed to depend on private healthcare in Nigeria, which is quite expensive. And then eventually he passed. But that's, by the way, I explained all of this to him, and I tried to humanize myself and, made him understand that this isn't a case of me not wanting to pay, but these are like this part of my life is just it's just been really tough on me, and I needed some time. I was willing to pay, and over the past 2 months, I have remitted over $14,000 to the coffers of the management office. I mean, I think this demonstrates my willingness to pay. It's not just me not wanting to pay. If the funds were there, I would have made the payment. It just wasn't at the moment. And I had actually offered to pay the balance after dropping off the $5,000. I offered to pay the balance of $2,000, $2,500 and something dollars via electronic means, but on the platform, every means of payment has been deactivated. So I spoke to Paul about it, and he said it had to be remitted via cashier's check. which I should be able to provide that if I'm given some time to. I'm willing to remedy this because if I have to lose a home over my head, it's definitely going to crush me. I mean, this is literally all I have at the moment.
So first, I'd like to say, accept my condolences for your loss. I know that can be difficult, and typically the vast majority of people that come before the court, it's because of something similar to yours, which is, loss of family, a health crisis. It's a, job loss, a number of things that happen, and it puts people in this type of situation. And it's unfortunate that it happens as often as it does, but those are just facts of life and things that we have to deal with and try to overcome. With that said, everything that you explained to me, that is all information for Mr. Rivera to take into consideration and for you all to work something out. I'm not in a position to accept any of that as evidence in the case other than that $5,000 payment that you made. Okay, so the question to Mr. Rivera, is that a payment that you're planning on accepting at this stage of the game, or are you still holding on to that with the intent of giving that back? What is the plan, Mr. Rivera?
The plan as of right now is to continue with the eviction.
Okay, and so is that saying then that you have not accepted that check yet?
We have not accepted, no, sir.
All right. So, Mr. Oladipupo, basically what that means is the past due rent, according to the testimony that was given, is $8,175.12. Assuming that Mr. Rivera were to accept the $5,000 check, you'd still be $3,175 short of the amount. And so you still have to come up with the difference. Now, even assuming that you were to come up with the $3,175, there is the issue of the late fees. There are the issues of December rent. There are the issues of any other fees associated with this. Those are not included in this because the only judgment amount that they can get is for rent only. So I don't know what else is due besides the rent. It could be valet fees, could be parking fees, could be utility fees. It could be a number of things, right? I don't know what the actual ledger balance is beyond simply what the rent is, okay? So with that said, I can only make a decision based on whether the rent is paid and or whether or not are they entitled to possession, okay? All other factors are not relevant in this court, and I don't mean to sound insensitive to you, because I understand you're going through a difficult time. But unfortunately, I cannot consider any of those things with respect to a decision here today, because this type of case doesn't allow me to do so. Okay. Now, with that said, I find that the monthly rent is $3,059, that the past due rent prorated through today is $8,175.12. I will grant attorney's fees in the amount of $800. So that is also a cost that you would have to pay in order to be able to remain in the apartment complex beyond December rent, late fees, those other things. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can work out all of those details with Mr. Rivera. You can appeal my decision, okay? In order to do so, you have to post a bond of $6,100. There are three ways to post that bond. One, you can pay it in cash. Obviously, you don't have that, or else you wouldn't be in this situation. Number two is you can go through a commercial bonding company and work out the details. You would pay a percentage, typically about 10%. Or you can file an application of inability to pay, which we would have to have a hearing. And so all of this is pending that hearing. And once we have it, if it's determined that you cannot pay, then we would waive the appeal bond and we would go forward without it. But you would still have to pay the monthly rent in cash to the registry of the court every month while the case is pending. This case will be pending between 5 and 6 months. Okay, so you don't pay the landlord anymore, you pay the court your monthly rent. If you do not file the appeal by Tuesday of next week at 4 p.m., then you lose the appeal. You lose your opportunity. If you do not pay the rent every month on time, then the appeal is over. And any money that you did pay goes to the apartment complex because that would have been for the rent. If you win your case on appeal, all that money that you paid to the court goes to the apartment complex because, again, that's rent, okay? You still have to pay the rent during this time period. You can come to the court to fill out the paperwork, or we can send it to you via email, and then you can appeal it that way. But you have until Tuesday of next week to get that done. If not, you have until Tuesday of next week to discuss with Mr. Rivera how you're going to pay the balance so that you can remain there. Because on Wednesday, he's able to file a writ of possession, which basically means that they're going to give that. I have to sign it, so it might take a day or 2 or 3 for me to sign it, but then it's going to be given to the constable's office, and they're going to come to your apartment to remove all of your personal property from the apartment. So you have between 1 week and 2 weeks before all of this happens. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank
We will send everybody a copy of the judgment by email.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
This is an eviction sought for non-payment of rent. The monthly rent is $1,015. Due to non-payment, a notice to vacate was issued on October 7th of this year, asking that the defendant leave by November 8th. It was a 30-day notice, and it was sent via certified mail, and I have proof of mailing, which should be a part of Your Honor's file, a USPS tracking that shows that it was in fact delivered on October 9th and that it was handed to the individual.
Okay, hold on just a second so I can translate.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I kept going on.
Esto es una petición para de desalojo. When did you say that it was delivered? Was it certified mail?
It was certified mail. It was delivered on October 9th at
Okay.
noon.
El
And
día
that it was
9 de octubre a las 12 de la tarde es cuando se entregó por el comprobante del postal. So his thing was that he never received notice, and now his comment was that it may have been sent, but I never saw it. You may proceed, Ms. Hedrick.
the USPS tracking says, which I believe is a part of the file, that it was delivered, left with individual.
El comprobante del postal dice que se entregó a la persona personalmente. Okay, you
A
may
mí no me entregaron
continue.
nada de nada.
Okay. You may proceed.
The total amount past due rent is $2,077, and that includes a small September balance, full month rent for October and November, and a prorated amount for December. I also have a declaration regarding military service stating that the defendant is not in the military.
All right, anything else, Ms. Hedrick?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so I asked him if there are any payments that have been made or any credits that he believes he's entitled to that he didn't receive credit for. And he says, I don't understand. And I said, well, did you make any payments? And he said, no. ¿Hay algo
que no
más en
entiendo
su
lo que-
defensa, señor Peña, que quieres presentar?
Lo que está diciendo, lo que le iba a decir ahorita es que yo no tenía trabajo, hasta hace una semana que conseguí trabajo, y si hubiera alguna manera de cómo lo que debo, ponerlo un tiempo para pagarlo, o ponerlo en la mensualidad que me tengo para poderlo ir pagando, pues no estoy,
Un momento.
¿sabes?
Okay.
No estoy.
Un momento, espera. So I lost my job, and up until last week, I didn't get a new job, and so I want to be able to pay it. That if perhaps I can get on a payment plan or something to be able to pay the amount that's due. Okay, puede seguir, señor Peña.
Porque le digo, es primera vez que me rento solo y no estoy interesado tampoco en perder el apartamento porque realmente me interesa, ¿sabes? Lo que pasa es que tuve una mala racha por el problema del trabajo, pero ya lo conseguí. Si tuviera alguna forma de cómo pagarlo la deuda y seguir en el departamento para no tener el desalojo.
So I had some trouble at work, and so that's why I wasn't able to pay. I've been trying to take care of this. If there's some way that I can try and work something out. Okay. Ms. Hedrick, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to start in Spanish and I'll finish it off in English. Okay. Determino aquí que la renta mensual es de 1015, se debe 2077, que es el balance hasta hoy en este día. Tienes que saber que eso no es el balance entero porque todavía se debe todo de diciembre, las multas de no pagar a tiempo, también los costos de la corte, todo eso se tiene que pagar también, que es aparte de los 2077. Si quieres apelar esta decisión, tienes que pagar una fianza de $2,000. Hay varias maneras de hacerlo. Primero se puede pagar en efectivo. Ya comprendo que no tienes ese dinero. Entonces la segunda manera es con un fiancero. Ahí pagas un porcentaje de normalmente de 10% o puedes hacer una aplicación donde declaras que no tienes para pagarlo a ver si te pueden quitar este monto de pagarlo para seguir con la apelación. Tienes hasta el martes de la semana que sigue, la próxima semana, para pagarlo. Si no lo haces, entonces se pierde el caso y entonces puede venir el alguacil para quitar todas sus cosas personales del apartamento y lo van a dejar afuera enfrente del apartamento. ¿Ok? ¿Tienes algunas preguntas?
Hasta el martes tendría para pagar los $2,000.
No te oigo.
Hasta el martes tendría para pagar los $2,000.
Hasta martes de la semana que viene, sí. ¿Ok?
Entonces, ¿cómo
Para
tendría,
hacer
tendría
arreglos
algún,
con el apartamento.
ok, y lo del link, lo del, donde usted me dijo para aplicarlo, en caso que no llegue, lo del
Eso
fianza.
tú tienes entre hoy y martes para hacer la aplicación. Tú tienes que venir aquí a la corte para hacerlo.
Ok.
Okay. All right. So I told him that I find that the monthly rent is 1,015, that the past due rent prorated through today is 2,077. That does not include the total amount due, because that probably would include the month of December. It would include all the late fees, any of the fines, court costs associated. The appeal bond is set at $2,000. I told him there were 3 ways to post that bond, how he could do that. He asked the question, so that means I have until Tuesday. And I said, you have until Tuesday to make the arrangements with the landlord to either stay or to appeal. I also did tell him that after that date is when the constable could potentially come in and then remove all of his personal property from the street. All right. Anything else, Ms. Hedrick?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much. Es
Thank
todo,
you.
señor Peña. Buena suerte.
Gracias, tenga buen día.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.